Welcome to Listen English Story. My name is Marcus. I have a brother named George. We grew up together, played together, worked together, and shared everything. But now, things are different. We are no longer brothers. We are enemies. Our father passed away last year. He was old, and his time had come. Before he died, he left us something: his house, his land, and his money. I thought we would share everything and stay together, but I was wrong. The day after our father's funeral, we went to the lawyer's office. The lawyer opened the papers and told us that our father wanted everything to be shared between us. But George did not want to share. He wanted everything for himself. I sat there in shock. George looked at me with cold eyes. "I deserve more," he said. I couldn't believe it. My own brother was saying he deserved more than me. I had worked hard all my life. I helped our father with everything and never asked for more. But George never worked hard. He never helped our father. He only thought about himself. He wanted the house, the land, and the money. He wanted it all and did not care about me. I looked at him. He was my brother, but at that moment, he felt like a stranger, a man who cared only about money. I wanted to speak, but I couldn't. My heart was broken. I couldn't believe my own brother would do this. George didn't stop. He kept talking, his voice loud and angry. "I need this money," he said. "I deserve it. I'm the older brother. I should have everything." I felt anger rise in me. How could he say that? How could he believe he deserved everything just because he was older? I had worked hard every day, and now he was taking it all from me. "George, this is not fair," I said. "We promised to share everything. This is our father's wish. We can't break that promise." But George did not care. He didn't listen to me. "You don't understand," he said. "You never understand. I need this money to make my life better. I need it more than you." I felt tears in my eyes. My brother, the person I loved most in the world, was telling me that I didn't matter. That night, he left the lawyer's office with everything. He took it all, and I was left with nothing but my broken heart. I couldn't believe it. How could my brother do this? How could he take everything and leave me with nothing? We were family. We were supposed to take care of each other. But George only cared about himself. That night, I sat alone in our father's old house. I looked around at all the memories: our father's chair, his books, his photographs. But they were all gone. George took them, and I was alone. It was the hardest thing I had ever done, but I knew I had to leave. I couldn't stay in this house anymore. Not with George. Not with all the pain he caused. I packed my things and walked out the door. But as I left, I looked back. I looked at the house where we grew up. I looked back at my brother, and for the first time, I felt like we were no longer family. Days passed, but my heart did not heal. I couldn't stop thinking about George and what he had done. I still remembered his angry face, his words cutting through me like a knife. He took everything, and I was left with nothing. I decided to visit the lawyer. Maybe there was still something I could do. Maybe there was a way to make things right. When I arrived at the office, the lawyer looked at me with sad eyes. "I'm sorry, Marcus," he said. "There's nothing I can do. George has all the rights now. Your father made it clear in his will." The words hit me hard. "But it's not fair," I said, my voice shaking. "George doesn't care about our father's wishes. He just wants the money. He doesn't care about family." The lawyer didn't say anything. He just nodded. I left the office feeling lost. My brother had taken everything, and now he was gone. I went back to the house one last time. I stood outside, looking at the place where I had grown up. It didn't feel like home anymore. It didn't feel like family. I knocked on the door. I knew George wouldn't answer. I knew he didn't want to talk to me, but I knocked anyway. To my surprise, he opened the door. His face was different now. He looked tired. He looked sad. "George," I said quietly, "we need to talk." He didn't say anything at first. He just looked at me. Then he stepped aside and let me in. We sat in silence for a long time. Neither of us knew what to say. Finally, George spoke. "I'm sorry, Marcus," he said. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I was angry. I was scared. I thought if I had everything, I would be happy. But I wasn't. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I could forgive him. But for the first time in weeks, I felt a little peace. Maybe things wouldn't be perfect. Maybe we couldn't fix everything. But at least we were talking again. Maybe, just maybe, we could start to heal." The days after our conversation were quiet. It wasn't easy, and we didn't speak much. But something had changed. The anger was gone. The hate was gone. It was as if the wall between us had begun to fall, piece by piece. One afternoon, I found George sitting at the kitchen table looking at an old photograph of us as children. I didn't say anything at first. I just stood there, watching him. Finally, he looked up at me. "I miss him, Harry," he said softly. "I missed Dad, too." I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to yell at him for what he had done. But another part of me felt sadness too. We both missed our father. We both felt the empty space he had left behind. "I miss him too," I said quietly. "I don't know why you did what you did, George. But I know you're hurting." George's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what happened to me. I just wanted to feel important. I thought the money would make me feel that way. But now it feels empty. I can't fix what I've done." For a moment, we just sat there, not speaking. The weight of the past was heavy, but I realized something. Maybe we couldn't fix everything, but we could try to rebuild. "I don't know if I can forgive you yet," I said slowly, "but I want to try. I don't want to live with this pain anymore." George nodded. "I understand. I don't expect forgiveness right away. But I'm here, Marcus. I'm trying." That night, I went to bed feeling strange. It wasn't happiness, but it wasn't sadness either. It was the feeling of change, of something beginning to heal.